concert. We appreciate you being here and showing your support of some of these musicians who haven't been in a band in over 45 years. But thank you so much for coming and supporting us in this event. This is the end of Monroney Junior High as we know it. Next year, all of the junior highs and the Middale schools are making the transition to middle school. It's pretty much a part of No Child Left Behind. 6th grade scores count for middle school scores, and all of our 9th grade scores count for high school scores with No Child Left Behind. And it was pretty much mandated, and honestly, I think it's best for everyone. It's great for the kids because middle school is very child-centered. I think it'll make everyone more nurturing. And I know you people that had me in the early 80s can't believe I could be nurturing, but it's true. But we're very excited to have everyone here this evening. And I would like to introduce a few people that we have here with us this evening. First of all, I would like to introduce the principal of Monroney Junior High, who also happens to be a band parent at Monroney. He's been so supportive of this event. He was there last night to make sure everyone was greeted, make sure they know where they're going around the school. He's here again this evening, and that's Mr. Chris Reynolds, a former Monroney T-Bird. We also have another past administrator with us, Mr. John Dunaway, who was an assistant principal at Monroney in the 80s. If you'd stand, please, Mr. Dunaway. We'd like to give a special thank you to Mr. John Davis, band director at Midwest High School, for letting us borrow all of his equipment, making sure it was moved over here and enabling us to be here for this event. In case you didn't know, we were having teachers meetings and things today, so the auditorium is being used all day for teachers meetings. So he was gracious enough to make sure all the equipment is over here. We'd like to thank Mr. Davis for all of his help. I do want to apologize. There's one person whose name was left off the list because he never RSVP'd. So there's one person whose name is not on the list, and that's Joe Russell playing trumpet with us. So I just want to make sure we recognize Joe since his name wasn't in the program. We're very blessed to have 4 of the Monroney band directors with us. On the back of the program, I had listed the band directors. We were unable to track down Joe Reed or Dwayne Bateman. We were able to talk to Mr. Don Hood, who unfortunately is in very poor health, so I put underneath that how you could contact him. He would love to hear from former students. He lives in Northwest Oklahoma City, so I had his address and his phone number. And when I called to talk to him about the possibility of coming, he just said, yeah, I have macular degeneration. I really can't see. I wouldn't be able to recognize people. I'm using a walker. I really don't want people to see me the way I am. I want to remember me the way I was. So if you're a former student, Mr. Hoods, I hope you'll contact him because I know it would mean a lot to him. Also, Mr. Patrick Burney wasn't able to be with us. He's a principal assistant principal at a high school in Orlando, Florida, and their baccalaureate is also tomorrow. And he's also in charge of their advanced placement test, and those occurred this week as well. And he was hoping to be able to come, but it was just like most of us. He's very snowed under here this last week or last couple of weeks of school. But I also included his address if you'd like to contact him. We're very, very fortunate to have Mr. Guy Burkhart, who's not only a former band director at Monroney Junior High, but he's also a retired administrator from the Middale schools. And we feel very blessed because his granddaughter is playing in our band this evening. She's not in the Monroney band, which is sad for us. Maybe we can get her to convert and become a T-Bird. But his granddaughter's here playing bass clarinet with us this evening. He's going to conduct our first piece, which was commissioned this year by the Monroney Junior High Band. It's written by Mr. Daniel Chisholm, who's the band director in Ardmore, Oklahoma. He has quite a few pieces out, published. And it's called Fly to the Thunderbirds in honor of the Thunderbirds. And now I'd like to present Mr. Guy Burkhart and the Monroney Alumni Band, Fly to the Thunderbirds. Oklahoma, you should be very aware of the fact that this is the Oklahoma Centennial, celebrating our 100th year. We're very excited because we had, Mr. Davis, was it 8 students from Midwest City High School that made the Centennial Band? 6. 6 bands from Midwest City High School made the Centennial Band, plus 1 alternate. Darren Heath, who's a 9th grader at Monroney Junior High, made alternate in the Centennial Band. And this is a very big deal. They marched in the Rose Bowl Parade. They still have several more performances to do across the state and nationally. And it was one of the top-rated things. I don't know if you saw the special on PBS that they had earlier. They've showed it several times during the year about what the kids went through in the auditions. We've had a lot of kids that auditioned for the band that didn't make it. It was really exciting to actually see some of our kids performing in the Rose Bowl Parade and see them, on PBS, on a real show on PBS and stuff. We're very excited because a former Monroney band director, who's now currently the band director at Midwest City High School, is also on the staff of the Oklahoma Centennial Band. And even though he's sick to death of Oklahoma, very blessed that we have not only a former assistant band director at Midwest City High School, but also former band director at Monroney Junior High. And this gentleman now lives in Rochester, New York. He flew all the way back to celebrate this event with us. And just to show you how smart musicians really are, when he retired from being a band director, he really didn't retire, he just left the profession. He got burned out pretty easily. He became a part of the creative think tank for Eastman Kodak in Rochester, New York, and was very instrumental in developing a lot of software packages, digital cameras, that kind of thing. So Yeah, it just shows you we have a brainy side to us too. We're just not all emotional. We really do right brain and left brain activities, and he's a perfect example of that. He was a very dear friend of Mr. Enix's. He was Mr. Enix's assistant band director for several years, and then moved over to the Monroney Junior High Band program. And we're just really thrilled that he took the effort, made the time, and spent the money to come and join us this evening. For those who've never met this man, you need to meet him before you leave this evening because he's just a really phenomenal person and a great friend of the Monroney Band as well. Mr. Mike Woody is going to be conducting a signature piece from Midwest City High School, the 60s and the 70s. Monroney's band has played it several times under the direction of Mr. Enix, and I didn't think we could do a concert without it because everyone who's a former Bomber band member from the 60s and 70s almost demanded it. So we brought out March Grandioso. My apologies to those of you that were in the Pride of Oklahoma. I do know that University of Texas plays this song. I do know that Texas A&M plays this song. But this is a signature Bomber band song for those of you who are too young to realize that. I'd now like to introduce Mr. Mike DeWoody, March Grandioso. All three of our guest conductors to come up on stage. We have a little something for each one of them, and we're going to get ready to do the Monroney fight song. In case you hadn't seen our logo down here in the front on the sign, that was done by Noreen Anwar, our band council president. We had a special logo this year. This is actually the symbol for the actual Thunderbird flying team. And so we had the 51 foot with it. So we have a memento 51-year anniversary t-shirt since it is the end of an era at Monroney Junior High. And my favorite phrase in the Monroney band room is tune it or die. And I have a great big sign-up poster in my room that has a skull, you know, crossbones and things on it. So for those that are locally, we have a tune it or die mug. And since we didn't want Mr. DeWoody to have to worry about packing, we got him a French horn magnet because he's a French horn star. So we have these special gifts for you gentlemen. We want to thank you so much for your participation. I do want to recognize the Monroney Band Council. They decorated everything in the cafeteria last night for the dinner. We're in charge of the sign, getting the programs and everything. So would my Monroney Band Council please stand up? Because they did an awesome job of getting everything ready this week. We just finished taking the algebra exit exam. We had our own concert this week, so it's been very crazy. And they took over things, so I didn't have to worry about any of the decorations or anything with the meal. And they were the hostess for the mostest. I really do appreciate you taking care of everything for me. Now we'd like to ask any former administrators, current administrators, any faculty members, former faculty to come on stage. We're going to play the Monroney Junior High fight song one more time with the official T-Bird Band. And we'd like y'all to come up on stage with us because we think y'all know the words. Band directors never know the words, we just know what the notes are. So please come up here on stage, Sean. Come on up.
Thank you, Jackie!
And if you know people who weren't here this evening, please ask them to go on our website and register, or send me an email so we can keep track. And we'd really like to keep track. He's probably played it 500 million times since he started working with the Centennial Band. He's going to come do highlights from Oklahoma. Mr. John Davis. next piece was commissioned by not only the Monroney band boosters, but also the Midwest City High School band parents and friends and former students of Mr. E. Paul Enix. Mr. Enix has been wonderful to come over to the Monroney band room for probably the last 25 years and help with my band. He heard my band once at a contest, and he came afterwards and said, you know, I could probably help you with those clarinets sometime. Well, I'll be honest, I really didn't know who the gentleman was because I'm not from Oklahoma and I'm not from Midwest City. And so he just offered graciously to give me a few clarinet lessons so I could help my clarinets. And then before you know it, he's coming over before contest season to help me get my band ready for contest. And he's been a friend of the Monroney band ever since then. So in 2000, I was at the Oklahoma Music Educators Convention in Tulsa, and I happened to see David Gorham, who's the head band director of Wausau High School. And I said, David, what does it take to get a piece of music commissioned by you? He said, well, it depends on what you want. I said, well, I want a grade 3 piece. It's actually about for a 3A high school band. And I said, how long is your waiting list? He said, well, it's about 3 years. I said, well, what would it take to get to the top of the list? And he said, what's your hurry? I said, well, Mr. Enix is in the 80s. He's not going to last forever. So he moved the Monroney Band Commission up to the top of the list, and in 3 months, he had put out a piece. All he asked me was, what were the strengths of my band? Because I told him I had a special band that I wanted to play this piece. And then he asked me what Mr. Enix's instrument was, and I said, well, it was the baritone and the trombone. So he made sure to feature the baritones and the trombones in the piece, and he took some of my stronger sections like the French horns, the baritones, the bassoons, clarinets, and he put solo parts in there for them as well. Whenever he first gave us the piece to go and play for our first concert, it didn't have the subtitles that it had before. It was just Highlands of Monroney, and then suddenly we get this piece published, and it's got the Isle of Enix and the Cliffs of Gilly, and I never had any idea, and I promise you, I didn't pay him to do that. But Mr. Enix was an incredible friend of the Monroney Band and Midwest City High School Band. Many of these people were influenced by him, and he's sorely missed. If you didn't make his memorial service earlier in the month, you missed a very special event, seeing a lot of people come from all across the United States to pay tribute to a very special man. I'm sorry, I still miss him. But you're welcome to the Highlands of Monroney. knew where they were, and they moved in the current situation. But we're going to do the Monroney fight song, and even though some of these people were never T-birds, they're a T-bird at heart. For those of you that were T-birds, you know, once a T-bird, always a T-bird. So we want you to stand and do the school song with us. Appreciate your cooperation, and if you want to help us get the stage ready for baccalaureate tomorrow, we'd really appreciate the extra help.